There is no typical day. I think, you're working at so many levels. So sometimes you'll be dealing with a staffing issue. Other times you'll be dealing with a big political issue. So you'll be putting forward a new strategy and you'll be working very closely with politicians. You may be leading an Ofsted inspection, as I am at the moment, which is always a joy when you're a DCS.
Your day is varied. You're dealing with a whole range of services across schools and early years and SEND, children's social care, music services, outdoor learning.
A typical day for me is pretty much back-to-back meetings. I have to confess that I do a lot of my thinking, my reading, my managing of my emails in the evenings and at weekends, which isn't necessarily something I'd recommend, but it's partly because the role I've got has just become so busy and involves so many different things.
There are a range of different things that you can be involved in any one day. That will include, for example, visits to schools, and I personally think it's very important to spend time in schools and not just expect school leaders to come to you. And then, of course, there's wider meetings with head teachers around school issues and with governors.
We have a real wide range of things, work in a very collaborative leadership team, and that means that when there are tough things to do, we all roll our sleeves up and we get on with that together.
It's wide and it's different, as well as dealing with corporate issues and politics and all the things that go around the job.
You may be talking to children and young people about their views and what they think of the service, or you may be working with your team on a service development. So every single day is so different and so varied, and I think that's one of the big joys of the job.
Lots of community engagement, community meetings, community events, lots of council meetings, also informal meetings with councillors, whether that's your cabinet or lead member or with other kind of lead members within the council. And then there'll be a range of more informal meetings that take place with councillors where you're discussing kind of the issues before they move into kind of public domain.
The job is great, it's a real privilege to do it, but I guess no one's starting out the career thinking, what I want to do is be a director of children's services. It's one of the things that you just keep working to.
There's a kind of VIP role, so you're invited to lots of events, you have to open things, you have to speak at various events. It's not something I felt natural when I started out. But it's an important part of the role and people really appreciate the time you give to those sorts of events.
No one could have imagined the last 7 or 8 months that we've experienced that have been much easier to manage together. I'll well remember a time in Christmas 2015 when we had horrendous floods in Rochdale, and again everybody rolled the sleeves up and turned up together. So those kind of things have been clearly not typical, but they are the reality of what we all have to deal with.
It's not for everyone. There are a lot of pressures that go with it, but there are a huge amount of rewards that I find worth it.
I would really love to see people face to face again and get back to those informal, relaxed conversations you can have at the beginning and end of a meeting, and just the relationship building that happens through that direct face to face. But in the meantime, we get by, I get by, and this way of working still works.